Right, cheers, Omar. Thanks for joining us today. If you wouldn't mind just starting telling us a little bit first, just about sort of what it is you do and sort of how you sort of came into contact with LTF, if that's all right.
Yeah, so what I've been doing is I've been learning mentoring for about a year before I started working with LTF. I was working with the local council with children excluded from school, and I just wanted to work in a different setting, preferably in a school setting. And I was looking around, and obviously I found an opportunity which was with LTF, and yeah, there we are from there.
That sounds good. And how did you find, so let's start from the start then. How did you find the registration process, and how long did the registration process take to complete before you sort of got to start in the school you were at?
Oh, it wasn't long at all. We first spoke to Jamie, I think it was end of January. And then from there, it just snowballed. So I went to meet him. When did I'm going to have to start that one again. Because obviously, when you stumble across it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think though. When did we? Was it December or January?
I think it was probably around. I think it was probably around January. Probably sort of mid to late January, because I know you started.
And then I started
around February half term, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so all in all, would say it's about sort of 2-3 weeks, the sort of process in between.
Yeah, so I went to meet Jamie in his office, did all the registration process there, and then from there he got me in contact with a couple of schools, had a couple of trial days, and then literally from there, I think it was 2 weeks after, I was working in a school. So
yeah, and how did you find the contact in between? Obviously, sort of like you come into the office, you meet me or whoever the consultant is. How was the contact sort of like in between the sort of leaving the office and you sort of going out to the schools?
Probably every single day, to be fair. Because Jamie was always contacting me, seeing if I needed to do anything else, seeing what schools I'd prefer to work in, and from there, yeah. So it wasn't a long process at all.
Yeah, that's good. And in terms of the schools you sort of went along to visit, were they sort of like local schools that were far away? Was sort of a few different schools offered to you?
Yeah, I think there was about 4 schools offered to me at the time. The first one I went to was in Leicester, but it was quite good to go down and actually see a different school setting, because it was quite a bigger primary school. It wasn't a little one. So I went down there and I actually really enjoyed it and thought I could see myself doing it. But then one came up quite local to me, and it just made sense to go for that one, really.
Yeah, and then so you've been at your school since, let's say, Feb half term, so a couple of months now. What sort of stuff is it you're doing in the school now? Is it the sort of stuff you wanted to do when you signed with LTF?
Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted to do. It's pretty much exactly similar to what I was doing in my previous role, but just doing it in a school setting is so much better, because I feel like the kids actually want to get on with the work. So it makes my life a little bit easier. And you've also got that support system around you with all the teachers and, well, with Jamie as well. So yeah, I much prefer it to my previous role. I'm learning every single day when I've been there.
That sounds good. And you find like you're making a difference to the kids that you're supporting within the school?
Yeah, massively, because I'm only working one-to-one with one child at the moment, and everything I'm getting told by his parents, by the teachers, they're all saying it's definitely working, because he was off school for quite a while beforehand. And
okay.
He's come back in and he's just cracked on with it, and he's dealt with it really well. So yeah, I think I've been good for him, but he's been good for me as well in the same sense, because I'm learning on the job with him as well.
Yeah, and in a short space of time you've worked with him, you've managed to sort of build that good relationship with him. Is that sort of just in the classroom, or do you do stuff like outside the classroom with him as well?
Oh no, yeah, also do stuff outside the classroom. So if I think he needs to be taken out for a break, I'll just take him out for a bit. We'll have a bit of a chat. Might even just play a little bit of football, anything just to keep his mind occupied and to calm him down a little bit. And when I feel like he's ready to go back into the classroom, we'll go back in and crack on with the work. But it's carried on even through this on Dojo. I don't know if you've heard of Dojo before.
Yeah. The reward system, isn't it?
I'm in contact with him on there. Like, I was talking to him yesterday, so just seeing how he is, and he was sending me a picture of him playing football and stuff and the work he's done. So still in contact with him, because I think it's important to keep that up just for when we are back in school.
Yeah, that sounds good. And in terms of, I mean, I'm not sure if you did look at the time, when you were sort of looking for jobs, was LTF the only agency you met with, or did you go and meet sort of any others or anything like that? I just sort of wanted to sort of see if there was a comparison between the two.
Well, I was with an agency previously anyway, in the role I was with.
Oh, okay.
But this was the first one I've applied for since. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. And how did you find, in terms of the processes, though, just trying to get across to people in terms of the difference between LTF and maybe the previous agency? Was there any notable differences that you've noticed either sort of before, during, or like continuing on now?
In contact much more now.
Yeah.
With previous agency, you would only really hear from them if sort of you had an issue with, but with this agency with LTF, like, they're always checking if you're okay and if you need any help or anything. So in contact a lot more. So yeah, I much prefer that.
Yeah, that sounds good. And obviously, sort of like the big one when people are looking for new jobs, a big part of it is sort of like sort of obviously getting paid. Have you been sort of satisfied with the sort of one, sort of how much you're getting paid, and two, sort of how frequent you get paid and sort of the ease of getting paid? Is it like any hassle, or is it sort of quite straightforward?
Well, luckily you're given the option if you want to get paid weekly or monthly, so it's all down to you really. So whatever suits you best. So I've not had a problem with that at all. And if I have had any questions, Jamie's been fine, and also the company that they deal with the payroll, absolutely perfect. So any issues, it always gets resolved. So
yeah, that sounds good. And timesheets and things like that, I know sort of some people like submit them. Is that like a fairly easy process as well?
Yeah, that's a massive thing that saves a lot of time. In my previous role, I can't tell you how long it used to take me to fill in my timesheets. But obviously in this role, Jamie at LTF just sorts them all out for you. So
that's when how was that done with your previous employer? Was that like paper timesheets, or was it online?
It was text message. So what you would do is, yeah, it was quite old school when you think about it.
Yeah.
So you just send in your hours with which kid you allocated with, but then you'd also send in your mileage across because you had to travel quite a lot.
Oh, okay.
So that would all done on Excel, which could take quite a while when you're doing a whole week. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's a quite like sort of just something that sort of allows you the time, sort of LTF sort of take that off your back to do that, so you've got time just to sort of go at it with the children that you're working with, I guess, and give them the sort of attention.
Yeah. It saves so much time, and if you need to plan any resources or anything, it just gives you time to do that rather than messing around with that. So yeah, it's a big help.
Yeah, and the school you've been placed in, it sounds like it's one that sort of like say you've enjoyed and you've got on with the rest of the staff there and things. And that's been, because I know sometimes going in as a new member of staff, sort of at this point in the year, pretty much the halfway point in the year, everyone's almost already set and things like that for the year. So were the rest of the staff like okay and sort of like welcoming to the team?
Yeah, that is one thing I thought when I was going into the school, was that it might be a little bit difficult to settle in, as you say, because it's halfway through the term. But such a welcoming school, the one that I'm in. Everyone absolutely brilliant from the first day, and I feel like I've been there years. I've only been there a couple of months, but I'm already missing it because everyone gets on so well. They've got brilliant support staff in there, so anything you need, their door's always open. So couldn't ask for a better school to work in, to be honest.
Yeah, and am I right in thinking that you sort of gave up a bit of your free time last week to go out and sort of help the school in some like local deliveries? Was it something like that?
Yeah, so with all this coronavirus stuff going on at the moment, because obviously the kids are off, the school decided to do an initiative where they were delivering Easter eggs to all 270 kids at the school.
Oh, so wow.
What they did is they asked for any volunteers, and I thought I've got a bit of free time, so I might as well volunteer my time. So I think I had 22 eggs, and I had to go deliver them to 20-something different addresses. So
that's quite nice. Were they all sort of managed to be local, or did you have to get in your car and drive?
Everyone was quite local, to be fair. And yeah, it wasn't too far. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. And then just to sort of like round it off, in terms of obviously, so LTF have helped you sort of find the job local to the school, happy with the pay, things like that. Has there been any sort of further opportunities offered to you by LTF or anything like that?
Yeah, so before I even started the role, Jamie mentioned to me about a graduate scheme and going into full-time teaching.
Okay.
So that was mentioned to me right at the very start, and he's been in contact with me ever since. He emailed me again the other day about it, so I'm just in the process looking at that at the moment. So fingers crossed that could be something that I could obviously go on to in the future, because it'd be a great opportunity. So there's always like different opportunities there.
Yeah, you feel like the experience you're getting now would sort of like lead you sort of well down that path, so it's like relevant, the stuff you're doing now, to the stuff that's being offered.
Yeah, I think obviously once I've got a full year in school behind me, maybe, or a few more months, I feel like then I'd be comfortable sort of applying for a role like that by doing that training. So because every day when you're in a school, you'll be amazed at how much you learn. So
yeah, no, that sounds good. No, but anything else you want to add, Omar?
That's all I think. Yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant so far. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, no worries, but cheers for your time today, Omar.
No worries, mate.
Cheers, mate.